Right, here we go. A long time since I've done one of these. A couple of years, I believe. It would help if I put my glasses on. If you've watched me before, you know I forget to do stuff. Things have changed. A great many things have changed in the entire time that I've been away. Got married last May. Still plodding away at stuff. Obviously, oh, still plodding away at stuff. As you may notice, I've lost a substantial amount of weight. But that's by the by. I am still doing a lot of modelling. As you know, I'm building the Kratos bust, or painting the Kratos bust. That's one of the plans for this year. Obviously, he hasn't progressed much since my last video, but he has in a way, and I will show you obviously when I flip the camera around. But yeah, that's obviously Kratos is going. I've got a plan. A couple of planned builds for this year. I've got one that's obviously some of it's in the can, which I've got some video in the can for it, but I'm trying to build up a load of video so I can just have them kind of come out in segments, which is working okay at the moment. But yeah, as I said, I've got a couple of plans for this year. I've got at least another bust to work on. I've got a couple of 3D printed, FDM printed Highland cows to paint. One's my sister's, I believe, and one's for my mum. But they were both found by my sister. I've got a couple of figures, some small figures up to my right that I might dip in and out of. I've got some other figures that are 75mm, and I'll show them as well. But yeah, I've got my sister's Scarlet Witch bust I need to do, but I've got to get the scale 75 tube acrylics for that because I want to give those a try. What else? I know someone's going to say, why aren't you wearing your wedding ring? Purely because I don't want to get it mucky and what have you. And I'm sat in the comfort of my own home. So no one needs to know that I'm married apart from me and my wife when I'm in my own home. But I digress. But then it wouldn't be me if I didn't go off on a bloody tangent. Yes, and one of the builds is, as some of you may remember from my days under the moniker of Darkblade 88, 10 years ago this year, I lost my grandpa. He is part of the reason that I do this hobby and have a fascination with aeroplanes. And I have a keyring with an aeroplane on it that my parents got me for Christmas this year that would have suited both me and my grandpa that says easily distracted by aeroplanes, which is true. And yes, up behind me in that direction, which I am not going to get out, I've still got the Sea Scout boat in pretty much the same state it was 10 years ago. Purely because I keep thinking, in the winter I'm going to crack on with that, but I've been doing other things. Right, I shall flip the camera around and move on to the next bit, or flip my phone around, but yes. Well, that was a bit abrupt. I hit the wrong button because I've got a little clicker. It's my wife's clicker for like a selfie stick. But I accidentally clicked that. Right, obviously my current scale model build while I'm working on Kratos is the Airfix Messerschmitt 109, no, not 109, 110C. Purely because I did have it. I managed to break the cockpit, and I'd actually bought the masks for the camouflage and the masks for the canopy. So my wife, well, she was my fiancée at the time, but my now wife bought me this as a replacement kit. So, as previously mentioned, this year's 10 years since I lost my grandpa, and he is the main reason why I do this, why I build models and that, as well as my parents. But we were thick as thieves, me and him. So about a couple of years ago for Christmas because I really wanted the 132nd version of this not armoured personnel carrier, self-propelled gun. But Dragon are the only ones that did it, and theirs is out of production at the moment, and I'm not paying eBay prices unless I get a good deal on it. So some of you probably are already shouting at the screen, it's this, and this. This box set is a 1/72 scale, and it's 3 of them. It is the Sexton self-propelled gun, and you're probably thinking, right, Mike, why are you building that if you and him both had a love of aeroplanes? Purely because he was a child of the Second World War. This wasn't because he was a child of the Second World War. This is what he did his national service on, a Sexton. Unfortunately, I haven't got the decals, and I'll show you the decal sheet in a minute, for the unit he did his national service in. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the markings for his nationals then when he did his national service. Purely because I don't think they did it. Or purely because they don't do national service unit coverings, and the fact is his national service would have been about 5 years after the war ended, so they may have had the same unit emblems and markings and that. So yeah, that's that. But we've got the decal sheet here. And before someone says no, it's decals, it's decals on British or English. But yes, I have these. So this is a decal sheet, and the scheme for it is that one. This one, right, which is, if you can probably see, it is the 90th Field, F Troop, 465th Battery, 90th Field Regiment, City of London. So that was his. That, if I remember correctly, from what my dad said, was his regiment when he did his national service. So yes, right. Obviously, as I said, I've got this the Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch bust to do as well. I've got a bust for myself to do, which I'll probably do with the Scarlet Witch bust. I have got another sort of build that I'm doing this year, but I'm not going to go into detail with that. It will be up on the channel, but it'll be one of these ones that it won't go up until I've completed it. But this one will be a video build. This will have a little vignette base, and I will probably build the other 3. But I am doing something special with that to do with a story from my grandpa's national service. Right, moving swiftly on. Obviously, so I've got plenty to do while I'm waiting for stuff to be in primer. I have got some 75mm figures from Future Forge, but he will Future Forge. Some of his stuff, obviously, he does Resident Evil stuff and other stuff, and I'm a big Resident Evil fan. Some of these will need filling and sanding because obviously the size of them, they are a bit. Some of them you can tell they're not bullet marks. They're where the supports were. But yeah, we've got various figures. This is obviously Mr. X from Resident Evil 2. Obviously, it's a Resident Evil 2 remake. Well, he says, "Excuse me, it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't send something flying at least once." And yes, that will be staying in because I don't give a monkeys. As I was saying, yeah, it's Mr. X from the remake. Focus you. Come on, focus. Yeah, Mr. X from the remake. Obviously, the focus isn't that great, but you can see on him where some of the supports weren't quite But that's okay. I've got putty and fillers. If you've got any Resident Evil 1 remake fans, you should know this individual I'm about to show here. And they're all going to need a bit of clean up and a bit of sharpening up. Some of the bits, obviously, some of her is a she. And no, it's not Jill. She's going to need a bit of cleaning up and sharpening up in places, like I said, because obviously they're 75mm, and I think they're actually really only meant to be 20mm figures. I was saying, obviously, this one she's going to have to need a bit of cleaning up as well because she's a 7, but they're all going to need a bit of cleaning up because I think they're like 75mm figures, and they're only really meant to be like 30 odd at the biggest. But they don't look too bad actually. And this one, hang on, yeah, she's focusing a bit better. Is Lisa Trevor from Resident Evil 1 Remake. We've obviously, you may be able to just about see it there because obviously that's another person's actual face, but that's her real face there. Obviously, she's got another face on there because her backstory is quite. She has a very sad backstory. But I will, with these, I will go into the backstory of the characters. Right, going back to Resident Evil 2, and I'm not sure whether this is a remake or an original version of this character, but I think this is Birkin G1 or G2, one of the two. I want to say it's G1. G1 being in Gene Virus, the first G virus mutation. He's actually not quite as bad. You can sort of see the definition on his arms. Yeah, there's a couple of bits where I'm going to have to, obviously, right there, where I'm going to have to sort of sharpen him up the best I can. But that's him. Now, here we are. Is the fourth and final figure of this range is one of my favourite characters of Resident Evil. And he is one of the antagonists, but he is so awesome. I just think he's brilliant. This is Hunk. Hunk is not actually his real name. Hunk is a code name. It is an abbreviation. Human Unit Never Killed. As you can see, obviously the knife at the top is pretty much okay, but underneath is a bit soft. So I'm going to have to do what I can do with this softness of the knife under there. But yeah, and obviously there's a bit of clean up down the side of his neck and all sorts, but they're actually pretty good sculpts, considering they're twice the size they need to be. Well, no, 3 times the size, I think, if. But they're bigger than I think they're actually designed to be, but they're still pretty good. Addendum to what I said in the previous part. Because I don't have what's going on in the background while I'm playing, because I listen to copyright music. I put copyright-free music on my videos, but I will be doing it's purely for my my wanting to do it anyway. Is I will be doing a segment, or not segment. I will be putting in each segment what record I was listening to during the build session.